night is the 15th of August, 2011. And this is the third night now. We're talking on the Udana Suttas. Now we come to chapter 5, Sona Vaga. The first sutta is 5.1, Raja Sutta. Thus have I heard. At one time the Lord was staying near Savatthi in the Jeta wood at Anathapindika's monastery. On that occasion, King Pasenadi of Kosala had gone to the upper story of the royal palace with Queen Malika. Then King Pasenadi of Kosala said to Queen Malika, "Is there anyone, Malika, dearer to you than yourself?" And she said, "There is no one, great king, dearer to me than myself. But is there anyone, great king, dearer to you than yourself?" And the king replied, "Neither is there anyone, Malika, dearer to me than myself." Then King Pasenadi of Kosala descended from the palace and went to visit the Lord. On approaching the Lord, he prostrated himself, sat down to one side, and reported this conversation. Then on realizing its significance, the Lord uttered on that occasion this inspired utterance. On traversing all directions with the mind, one finds no one anywhere dearer than oneself. Likewise, everyone holds himself most dear. Hence, one who loves himself should not harm another. This sutta actually we found this sutta also, I think, in the Anguttara Nikaya, under the Pasenadi. Or is it the Sangyutta Nikaya, under the Kosala Sangyutta, I think. So this sutta tells us that there's no one dearer to ourselves than our own self. This reminds me, many years ago in Penang, one old lady, she asked her daughter to contact us, to go to her house. The husband was dying of old age, and he should have died 3 months ago according to the doctor, but he kept clinging to life, and the wife told us, the wife was very old, the wife told us that when he was still able to talk, the husband said to the wife, he knew that he was going, he asked the wife to go with him. So the wife got frightened. Even though the wife loved the husband, when you are on your deathbed, you ask your wife to go with you, you think she will go? 5.2, Appayukka Sutta. Thus have I heard. At one time the Lord was staying near Savatthi in the Jeta wood at Anathapindika's monastery. Then the Venerable Ananda, on emerging from seclusion in the evening, approached the Lord, prostrated himself, sat down to one side and said, "It is wonderful, revered sir. It is marvelous, revered sir. How short-lived was the Lord's mother. 7 days after the Lord was born, the Lord's mother died and was reborn into the Tusita group of Devas." And the Buddha said, "So it is, Ananda. Short-lived are the mothers of Bodhisattvas. 7 days after Bodhisattvas are born, their mothers die and are reborn into the Tusita group of Devas." Then on realizing its significance, the Lord uttered on that occasion this inspired utterance. Whatever beings are born or will be born, they will journey on leaving the body, knowing that all must be abandoned. A skillful one, ardent, should lead the holy life. This sutta, to me, it's a bit doubtful whether it's spoken by the Buddha, because in the Vinaya books, the Buddha says not all Buddhas are the same. Some they teach little Dhamma Vinaya, some teach a lot. The length of their sasana also varies. But here he's saying that all the mothers of the Buddhas to be will die after 7 days. This might be peculiar to our Sakyamuni Buddha, but it's a bit doubtful whether all Buddhas are like that. But the verses are important. That here the Buddha is saying, if you know that after death you have to leave the body and be reborn, then you should lead the holy life. 5.3 Suppa Buddha Kuti Sutta. Thus have I heard. At one time the Lord was staying near Rajagaha in the bamboo wood at the squirrel's feeding place. At that time there was in Rajagaha a leper called Suppa Buddha, a poor, pitiable, wretched person. Now on one occasion the Lord was sitting teaching Dhamma, surrounded by a large gathering. Suppa Buddha, the leper, saw in the distance that a large group of people had collected together, and on seeing it he thought, surely some food is being distributed. Suppose I were to approach that large group of people, I might well get some food there. So Suppa Buddha, the leper, approached that large group of people and saw the Lord sitting and teaching Dhamma, surrounded by that large gathering. On seeing it, he thought, there is no food being distributed here. This is the recluse Gotama teaching Dhamma in the assembly. Suppose I too were to listen to Dhamma. So he sat down to one side, thinking, I too will listen to Dhamma. Then the Lord, comprehending the minds of everyone in that whole gathering with his own mind, considered, who here is capable of understanding Dhamma? Then the Lord saw Suppa Buddha, the leper, sitting amongst the group of people, and on seeing him he thought, this one here is capable of understanding Dhamma. For the sake of Suppa Buddha, the leper, he then gave a progressive talk, that is, a talk on generosity, on virtue or sila, on heaven. He made known the disappointment, degradation, and corruption of sensual pleasures, and the benefit in renouncing them. When the Lord knew that the mind of Suppa Buddha, the leper, was ready, malleable, free from hindrances, elated and purified, he then made known that Dhamma teaching special to the Buddhas, suffering, origination of suffering, cessation of suffering, and the path leading to the cessation of suffering. And just as a clean cloth without stains would properly take up dye, so in Suppa Buddha, the leper, even as he was sitting there arose the stainless, undefiled vision of the Dhamma, that whatever is subject to origination is subject to cessation. Then Suppa Buddha, the leper, having seen Dhamma, attained to Dhamma, known Dhamma, plunged into Dhamma, crossed over doubt, become free from uncertainty, attain to complete confidence, become independent of others in the teacher's teaching, arose from his seat and approached the Lord. Stop here for a moment. So here, it's basically saying that he attained stream entry, the first path. And in the suttas and the Vinaya, we always see that a person attains stream entry in this way by listening to the Dhamma. He prostrated himself, sat down again to one side and said to the Lord, it is wonderful, revered Sir, it is marvelous, revered Sir. Just as if, revered Sir, one should set upright what is overturned, or should uncover what is concealed, or should point out the path to one who is lost, or should bring an oil lamp into the darkness so that those with eyes could see visible objects. Even so, by various methods, the Lord has explained Dhamma. I, revered Sir, go for refuge to the Lord, to Dhamma and to the Sangha of monks. May the Lord accept me as a lay follower, gone for refuge from this day forth, for as long as life lasts. Stop here for a moment. You see, when a person takes refuge in the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, usually, as is shown here, it's the Sangha of monks. Last year we went through a lot of suttas in the Majjhima Nikaya. They also always take refuge with the Sangha of monks. Some people think it's a Sangha of Aryans, but the problem is if you don't know who is an Arya, then how can you take refuge when you don't know who is the Aryan? Whereas here we take refuge with the monks. That's why we notice, for example, in the Samyutta Nikaya, this Anagamin called Chitta and some other Anagamins, they are lay followers who have attained to the third fruit. And then the monks come to their house for alms round, and sometimes they invite the monks into their house to eat. And it doesn't matter what type of monk, whether it's an Aryan monk or a Putujana monk, ordinary monk. This Chitta, Anagamin, will pay homage to the monk because he is respecting not the person but the Sangha of monks. Thereupon Super Buddha, the leper, after being instructed, roused, inspired and gladdened by the Lord's talk on Dhamma, being pleased and appreciative of what the Lord had said, arose from his seat, prostrated himself before the Lord, and keeping his right side towards him, went away. Now it happened that a cow with a young calf attacked Super Buddha the leper and killed him. Then a number of monks approached the Lord, prostrated themselves, sat down to one side and said, "Revered Sir, the leper Super Buddha, who was instructed, roused, inspired and gladdened by the Lord's talk on Dhamma, has died. What is his destiny? What is his future birth?" And the Buddha said, "Super Buddha, the leper monks, was a wise man. He practiced according to Dhamma and did not trouble me by disputing about Dhamma. Super Buddha, the leper monks, by destroying 3 fetters, is a stream enterer, not liable to fall away, assured, bound for enlightenment." When this was said, a certain monk asked the Lord, "Revered Sir, what was the cause? What was the reason? The Super Buddha, the leper, was a poor, pitiable, wretched person." And the Buddha said, "Formerly, monks, Super Buddha, the leper, was the son of a rich merchant in this very Rajagaha. While being conducted to the pleasure garden, he saw Tagarasiki, the Pacheka Buddha, entering the city for alms food. And on seeing him, he thought, 'Who is that leper wandering about?' And having spat at him and disrespectfully turned his left side towards him, he went away. Through the ripening of just that deed, he suffered in hell for many years, for many hundreds of years, for many thousands of years, for many 100,000s of years. And through the residual result of just that deed, he became a poor, pitiable, wretched person in this very Rajagaha. But on meeting with the Dhamma Vinaya made known by the Tathagata, he acquired faith, virtue, learning, relinquishment, and wisdom. Thus upon the dissolution of the body after death, he re-arose in a happy realm, in a heavenly world, in companionship with the Devas of the Tavatimsa heaven. There he surpasses the other Devas in beauty and splendor." Then on realizing its significance, the Lord uttered on that occasion this inspired utterance. As a man with good eyesight on a journey would endeavor to avoid any dangerous place, so too a wise man in the world of the living should avoid demeritorious deeds. This Pacheka Buddha, because these Pacheka Buddhas, they dwell alone in the forest, and because he's already a Buddha, enlightened, doesn't care very much for his body. Probably his body was very dirty. Clothes also are shabby and torn here and torn there. So this man is so rich. That's a problem when a person is born into a rich family and spoiled from young. They tend to be very arrogant. It's different with a person when he was young. The family was poor, and then he worked his way up to the top. Then he has some good qualities. He appreciates people who are poor. But this person, being very young and extremely rich family, looked down on all the poor people. So he thought this Pacheka Buddha looks like a leper. So it's very dangerous to show disrespect or talk bad about a monk or any ascetic who practices the holy life. So like this, just for spitting at the Buddha, he went to hell for a long time. 5.4 Kumaraka Sutta. Thus have I heard. At one time the Lord was staying near Savatthi in the Jeta wood at Anathapindika's monastery. On that occasion, a number of boys in between Savatthi and the Jeta wood were tormenting the fish in a pool. Then the Lord, having put on his robe in the forenoon and taken his bowl and outer cloak, was going to Savatthi to collect alms food. When he saw those boys in between Savatthi and the Jeta wood tormenting the fish, on seeing this he went up to them and said, "Do you boys fear pain? Do you dislike pain?" And they said, "Yes, revered sir, we do fear pain, we dislike pain." Then on realizing its significance, the Lord uttered on that occasion this inspired utterance. If you fear pain, if you dislike pain, do not do a bad deed openly or in secret. If you have done a bad deed or do one now, you will not escape pain, though you try to flee. 5.5 Uposatha Sutta. Thus have I heard. At one time the Lord was staying near Savatthi in the eastern park at Migara's mother's mansion. That means Visakha's mansion. On that occasion the Lord was sitting surrounded by the Sangha of monks, as it was the day of the Uposatha observance. Then when the night was far advanced and the first watch had ended, that means 10 p.m., the Venerable Ananda arose from his seat, arranged his robe over one shoulder, raised his folded hands and said to the Lord, "The night is far advanced, revered Sir. The first watch has ended and the monks have been sitting for a long time. Revered Sir, let the Lord recite the Patimokkha to the monks." When this was said, the Lord remained silent. Stop here for a moment. Up to that time, the Buddha was the one who recited the precepts. The Patimokkha is the list of the precepts. Every 2 weeks, on the 15th day of the lunar month, that means on the full moon night, on the full moon day, day or night, the monks will gather together and recite the Patimokkha, the list of the precepts. And also on the last day of the lunar calendar, that means on the 30th night, or on the 30th day or night, or if there's no 30 days, then it's 29 days, 29th day. So up to that time, the Buddha used to chant the Patimokkha. But you can see from this sutta, after that the Buddha stopped. When the night was still further advanced and the middle watch had ended, that means 2 a.m., a second time the Venerable Ananda arose from his seat and said to the Lord, "The night is far advanced, revered Sir. The middle watch has ended and the monks have been sitting for a long time. Revered Sir, let the Lord recite the Patimokkha to the monks." A second time the Lord remained silent. When the night was further advanced and the last watch had ended, that means 6 a.m., as dawn was approaching and the night was drawing to a close, a third time the Venerable Ananda arose from his seat and said to the Lord, "The night is far advanced, revered Sir. The last watch has ended. Dawn is approaching and the night is drawing to a close, and the monks have been sitting for a long time. Revered Sir, let the Lord recite the Patimokkha to the monks." And the Buddha said, "The gathering is not pure, or the assembly is not pure, Ananda." Then the Venerable Mahamoggallana thought, "Concerning which person has the Lord said, the gathering is not pure, Ananda?" And the Venerable Mahamoggallana, comprehending the minds of the whole Sangha of monks with his own mind, saw that person sitting in the midst of the Sangha of monks, immoral, wicked, of impure and suspect behavior, secretive in his acts, no recluse though pretending to be one, not practicing the holy life though pretending to do so, rotten within, lustful and corrupt. On seeing him, he arose from his seat, approached that person and said, "Get up, friend, you are seen by the Lord. You cannot live in communion with the monks." But that person remained silent. A second time and a third time the Venerable Mahamoggallana told that person to get up. And a second time and a third time that person remained silent. Then the Venerable Mahamoggallana took that person by the arm, pulled him outside the gate and bolted it. Then he approached the Lord and said, "Revered Sir, I have ejected that person. The assembly is quite pure. Revered Sir, let the Lord recite the Patimokkha to the monks." And the Buddha said, "It is strange, Moggallana, it is remarkable, Moggallana, how that stupid person should have waited until he was taken by the arm." Then the Lord addressed the monks, "From now on, monks, I shall not participate in the Uposatha observance or recite the Patimokkha. From now on, you yourselves should participate in the Uposatha observance and recite the Patimokkha. It is impossible, monks, it cannot happen that the Tathagata should participate in the Uposatha observance and recite the Patimokkha with a gathering that is not pure." Stop here for a moment. So you see this corrupt monk, even after he was found out and asked to leave, he refused to leave. And after asking him 3 times, Venerable Mahamoggallana thought the soft approach cannot do, must use the hard approach. So, threw him out. So you see, during the Buddha's time, they also have a gate. So the gate of the monastery is our boundary. Last time, Sima actually means the boundary of the land. And all the monks inside the boundary of that land is one Sangha. They have to come together to recite the Patimokkha every 2 weeks. Later, they started to shrink the boundary until nowadays they talk about the Sima Hall. But during the Buddha's time, there was no such thing as a Sima Hall. The hall was called a Uposatthagara, Uposatha Hall. So actually the word Sima Hall is wrong. Sima is boundary. How can the boundary be a hall? Okay, then the Buddha said, monks, there are these 8 wonderful and marvelous qualities of the great ocean, seeing which the Asuras delight in the great ocean. What are the 8? Stop here for a moment. The Asuras originally were in the heaven of the 33 together with the Sakadeva Raja and his devas. Heaven of the 33 is the Tavatimsa heaven. And then the Asuras used to fight with the Sakadeva Raja and his devas. And one day, when the Asuras who liked to drink liquor, when the Asuras were drunk, Sakadeva Raja and his devas caught them and threw them out of the heaven into the great ocean. So they stay in the ocean. This is not our ocean, this is the heaven, the ocean in the heaven. What are the 8? The great ocean, monks, gradually shelves, slopes and inclines, and there is no sudden precipice or no sudden sharp drop. Since the great ocean gradually shelves, slopes and inclines, this is the first wonderful and marvelous quality of the great ocean, seeing which the Asuras delight in the great ocean. Number 2, furthermore, the great ocean is stable and does not exceed the limits of the tide line. This is the second wonderful and marvelous quality of the great ocean. 3, furthermore, the great ocean does not tolerate a dead body, for when there is a dead body in the great ocean, it soon conveys it to the shore and casts it up on dry land. This is the third wonderful and marvelous quality of the great ocean. Number 4, furthermore, whatever great rivers there are, the Ganges, the Yamuna, Achiravati, Sarabu, Mahi, on reaching the great ocean lose their former names and identities, and are just called the great ocean. This is the fourth wonderful and marvelous quality of the great ocean. Number 5, furthermore, although the rivers of the world flow into the great ocean and showers of rain fall from the sky, no lessening or filling up of the great ocean is evident. This is the fifth wonderful and marvelous quality of the great ocean. Number 6, furthermore, the great ocean has one taste, the taste of salt. This is the sixth wonderful and marvelous quality of the great ocean. Number 7, furthermore, the great ocean contains many precious substances, various precious substances such as these: pearl, crystal, beryl, conch, quartz, coral, silver, gold, ruby, and cat's eye. This is the seventh wonderful and marvelous quality of the great ocean. Number 8, furthermore, the great ocean is the abode of mighty creatures, of such creatures as these: the Timi, Timingala, Timira, Pingala, Asuras, Nagas, and Gandhabas. There exist in the great ocean beings 100 yojanas in size, that means 1,000 kilometers in size. Beings 200, 300, 400, and 500 yojanas in size. That means 5,000 kilometers long. This is the eighth wonderful and marvelous quality of the great ocean. These monks are the 8 wonderful and marvelous qualities of the great ocean, seeing which the Asuras delight in the great ocean. Similarly, monks, there are 8 wonderful and marvelous qualities in this Dhamma Vinaya, seeing which monks delight in this Dhamma Vinaya. What are the 8? 1. Just as the great ocean gradually shelves, slopes and inclines, and there is no sudden precipice, so also in this Dhamma Vinaya, there is a gradual training, a gradual course, a gradual progression, and there is no sudden penetration to final knowledge. Since in this Dhamma Vinaya there is a gradual training, this is the first wonderful and marvelous quality in this Dhamma Vinaya, seeing which monks delight in this Dhamma Vinaya. I'll stop here for a moment. So progress on the spiritual path is very gradual one. There is no sudden attainment of some insight where you become enlightened or what. Although there is attainment of insight, but it comes after years of practice. Unless in your previous life you already cultivated a lot. Number 2, just as the great ocean is stable and does not exceed the limits of the tide line, so also my disciples do not transgress a training rule laid down by me for discipline for disciples, even for the sake of their lives. This is the second wonderful and marvelous quality in this Dhamma Vinaya. Number 3, just as the great ocean does not tolerate a dead body, but casts it up on dry land, so also whatsoever person is immoral, wicked, of impure and suspect behavior, secretive in his acts, no recluse though pretending to be one, not practicing the holy life though pretending to do so, rotten within, lustful and corrupt, the Sangha does not associate with him, but when it has met together, soon throws him out. Even though he may be sitting in the midst of the Sangha of monks, yet he is far from the Sangha, and the Sangha is far from him. This is the third wonderful and marvelous quality in this Dhamma Vinaya. Number 4, just as whatever great rivers there are, on reaching the great ocean lose their former names and identities, and are just called the great ocean, so also those of the 4 castes, nobles, Brahmins, merchants and workers, having gone forth from home to the homeless state in the Dhamma Vinaya, made known by the Tathagata, abandon their former names and identities, and are just called recluses, followers, sons of the Sakyan, Sakyaputta. This is the 4th wonderful and marvelous quality in this Dhamma Vinaya. Number 5, just as although the rivers of the world flow into the great ocean and showers of rain fall from the sky, no lessening or filling up of the great ocean is evident. So also, although many monks attain final Nibbana in the Nibbana element with no residue left, no lessening or filling up of the Nibbana element is evident. This is the 5th wonderful and marvelous quality in this Dhamma Vinaya. 6. Just as the great ocean has one taste, the taste of salt, so also this Dhamma Vinaya has one taste, the taste of liberation. This is the 6th wonderful and marvelous quality in this Dhamma Vinaya. 7. Just as the great ocean contains many precious substances, various precious substances, so also this Dhamma Vinaya contains many precious things, various precious things such as these: the 4 intense states of mindfulness, the 4 right efforts, the 4 bases of psychic power, the 5 faculties, 5 powers, 7 enlightenment factors, and the Noble Eightfold Path. This is the 7th wonderful and marvelous quality in this Dhamma Vinaya. Number 8, just as the great ocean is the abode of mighty creatures, so also this Dhamma Vinaya is the abode of mighty creatures, such as these: the stream enterer and the one who is on the way to realizing the fruit of stream entry, the one's returner and the one who is on the way to realizing the fruit of one's returning, the non-returner and the one who is on the way to realizing the fruit of non-returning, the Arahant and the one who is on the way to Arahatship. This is the 8th wonderful and marvelous quality in this Dhamma Vinaya. These monks are the 8 wonderful and marvelous qualities in this Dhamma Vinaya, seeing which monks delight in this Dhamma Vinaya. Then on realizing its significance, the Lord uttered on that occasion this inspired utterance: Rain soddens what is covered up. It does not sodden what is open. Therefore uncover what is covered, that the rain will not sodden it. When rain falls on something covered, for example, a bag of rice or what, then it becomes sodden, it becomes soft and swells up. So it probably means that if we cover up our offenses, the monks, if the monks cover up their offenses, their defilements, then it swells, it doesn't lessen. The defilements get more. But if they open it up, that means they confess to another monk, then they reduce their defilements. So rain could probably refer to time. Time softens what is covered up. That means your defilements that are covered up. Okay, 5.6, Sona Sutta. Thus have I heard. At one time the Lord was staying near Savatthi in the Jeta wood in Anatta Pindika's monastery. At that time the Venerable Mahakachana was staying among the people of Avanti near Kuraragara on Pavata hill with the lay follower Sona Kotikana as his supporter. Now while the lay follower Sona Kotikana was in seclusion, this train of thought arose in his mind. According to how Master Mahakachana teaches Dhamma, it is not easy for one living at home to practice the holy life, wholly fulfilled, wholly purified and polished like a conch shell. Suppose I were to have my hair and beard shaved off, clothe myself in yellow robes and go forth from home to the homeless state. So the lay follower Sona Kotikana went to the Venerable Mahakachana, prostrated himself, sat down to one side and said, "Just now, revered sir, while in seclusion, I thought, according to how Master Mahakachana teaches Dhamma, it is not easy to practice the holy life at home." And he said, "Allow me, revered Master Mahakachana, to go forth." When this was said, the Venerable Mahakachana replied to the lay follower Sona Kotikana, "Sona, it is hard to lead the holy life with its one meal a day and sleeping alone for the rest of one's life. Come now, Sona, devote yourself to the teaching of the Buddhas while remaining a householder, and try for a limited period to lead the holy life, eating one meal a day and sleeping alone." I stop here for a moment. So this Mahakachana, the Arahant, is telling his chief supporter, instead of becoming a monk, he practice at home. Eat one meal a day and sleep alone. Don't sleep with the wife. See whether can or not. Then later only, you can consider. It's good advice. A lot of people, they haven't even come to the monastery to stay for long periods, and then they say they want to become a monk. Too drastic a change. It must be a gradual change. Then the lay follower Sona Kotikana's idea of going forth subsided. On a second occasion, while the lay follower Sona Kotikana was in seclusion, again the same thought arose. He went to the Venerable Mahakachana and asked to go forth, but again he received the same reply. On the third occasion, however, the Venerable Mahakachana allowed the lay follower Sona Kotikana to go forth. At that time there were few monks in the southern country of Avanti, so only after a lapse of 3 years did the Venerable Mahakachana, with trouble and difficulty, manage to assemble together from here and there a group of 10 monks to form a sangha of monks and give the higher ordination to the Venerable Sona. Stop here for a moment. So it's just like Malaysia, we have few monks. To get a group of 10 monks of the same tradition to ordain somebody, it's not so easy. So here in this country of Avanti, probably they had less monks. So he had to wait 3 years to manage to get 10 monks to ordain this Sona Kotikana. Then on emerging from seclusion after the rain's retreat, the following thought occurred to the Venerable Sona. "I have not seen the Lord face to face. I have only heard that He is like this and like that. If my preceptor would give me permission, I would go to see the Lord, Arahant Sammasambuddha." So the Venerable Sona, on emerging from seclusion in the evening, approached the Venerable Mahakachana, prostrated himself, sat down to one side and said, "Just now, revered sir, while in seclusion, I thought, I have not seen the Lord. If my preceptor would give me permission, I would go to see the Lord, Arahant Sammasambuddha." And the Venerable Mahakachana said, Good, Sona. Go, Sona, to see the Lord, the Arahant Sammasambuddha. Sona, you should see that Lord who inspires trust and confidence, who has calm senses and tranquil mind, who has attained perfect poise and calm, who is controlled, a perfected one, watchful with restrained senses. When you see him, pay homage in my name with your head at the Lord's feet, and ask whether he is free from sickness and ailment, and is healthy, strong, and living in comfort, saying, my preceptor, revered Sir Mahakachana, pays homage with his head at the Lord's feet, and asks whether he is free from sickness and living in comfort. Very well, revered Sir, said the Venerable Sona, and pleased and appreciative of the words of the Venerable Mahakachana, he arose from his seat, prostrated himself before the Venerable Mahakachana, and left, keeping his right side towards him. Having set his lodgings in order and taken his bowl and outer cloak, he departed on tour for Savatthi. Walking on tour by stages, he reached Savatthi, the Jeta wood, and Anathapindika's monastery, and went to the Lord. Having approached the Lord, he prostrated himself, sat down to one side, and said to the Lord, my preceptor, revered Sir, the Venerable Mahakachana, asked whether the Lord is living in comfort, etc. And the Buddha said, are you well, monk? Are you in good health? Are you but little fatigued by the journey coming here, and been having no difficulty obtaining alms food? And he said, I am well, Lord. I am in good health, Lord. I am not fatigued by the journey coming here, revered Sir, and have been having no difficulty obtaining alms food. Then the Lord said to the Venerable Ananda, arrange a lodging, Ananda, for this newly arrived monk. Then the Venerable Ananda thought, when the Lord orders me, saying, arrange a lodging, Ananda, for this newly arrived monk, it is because he wishes to be alone with this monk. The Lord wishes to be alone with the Venerable Sona. So in the dwelling where the Lord was living, he arranged a lodging for the Venerable Sona. Then the Lord, having spent much of the night seated in the open air, washed his feet and entered the dwelling. And the Venerable Sona did likewise. Then towards dawn, the Lord got up from his seat and requested the Venerable Sona, I would like you, monk, to recite Dhamma. Very well, revered Sir, the Venerable Sona replied to the Lord, and he chanted the whole of the 16 sections of the Attaka Vaga. At the conclusion of the Venerable Sona's chanting, the Lord was highly pleased and said, good, monk, you have learned the 16 sections of the Attaka Vaga well. Monk, you have considered and remembered them well. You possess a fine voice, incisive and distinct, that makes the meaning clear. Stop here for a moment. So this monk was asked to recite some Dhamma. He chanted the Attaka Vaga, I think from the Sutta Nipata, which we will come across later. And the Buddha asked him, how many years do you have, monk? How many vasa? In the Pali, the word for years is vasa. So how many vasas do you have, monk? And he said, I have 1 vasa, Lord. And the Buddha said, why, monk, did you delay so long? Maybe the Buddha saw he was not so young. Only just become a monk 1 year only. And he said, for a long time, revered Sir, I had seen the danger in sensual pleasures, but the household life with its many activities and things to be done held me back. Then on realizing its significance, the Lord uttered on that occasion this inspired utterance. Having seen the danger in the world, having known the state without clinging, a noble one does not delight in evil. In evil, a pure one finds no delight. 5.7. This story about this Sona Kotikana is in the Vinaya books. It's longer than the Vinaya books. Even the previous one about the 8 qualities of the ocean that the Asuras delight in. It's also found in some other, it's either Anguttara or Anguttara Nikaya. 5.7, Revata Sutta. Thus have I heard, at one time the Lord was staying near Savatthi in the Jeta wood at Anathapindika's monastery. On that occasion, the Venerable Revata, the doubter, was sitting cross-legged not far from the Lord, holding his body erect and reviewing his own purification by overcoming doubt. The Lord saw the Venerable Revata, the doubter, sitting cross-legged not far away, holding his body erect and reviewing his own purification by overcoming doubt. Then, realizing its significance, the Lord uttered on that occasion this inspired utterance. Whatever doubts as to here or beyond, in one's own or another's experience. The meditators abandon all these, the ardent ones leading the holy life. There's no more doubts. This remember Revata, the doubter. I think Kanka Revata is Arahant, well known, one of the chief disciples of the Buddha. If I'm not mistaken, might be Venerable Sariputta's brother. 5.8 Ananda Sutta. Thus have I heard. At one time the Lord was staying near Rajagaha in the bamboo wood at the squirrel's feeding place. At that time, on the day of the Uposatha observance, the Venerable Ananda, dressed in the forenoon, took his bowl and outer cloak and entered Rajagaha for alms food. Devadatta saw the Venerable Ananda walking for alms food in Rajagaha, and on seeing him approached the Venerable Ananda and said, "From today, friend Ananda, I shall keep the Uposatha observance and enact the business of the Sangha apart from the Lord and apart from the Sangha of monks." Then the Venerable Ananda, having walked in Rajagaha for alms food and returned after the meal, approached the Lord, prostrated himself, sat down to one side and said to the Lord, "Revered Sir, I had dressed in the forenoon, taking my bowl and outer cloak, and entered Rajagaha for alms food. Devadatta saw me and said, 'From today I shall keep the Uposatha observance,' etc., etc., apart from the Sangha of monks. Today, revered Sir, Devadatta will divide the Sangha. He will keep the Uposatha observance and enact the business of the Sangha separately." Stop here for a moment. This Devadatta, he split the Sangha. This is what is called the schism of the Sangha. He set up his own Sangha, and this is a very serious thing to do. Something that can bring one definitely to hell when he dies. So because of his ego, he wanted to lead the Sangha. The Buddha did not allow him to lead the Sangha. He still insists on leading his own Sangha. Then on realizing its significance, the Lord uttered on that occasion this inspired utterance: "For the good to do what is good is easy. For the bad to do what is good is difficult. For the bad to do what is bad is easy. For the noble to do what is bad is difficult." So the Buddha said, this Devadatta, he has not a spot of goodness in him. So that's why the Buddha said he will never see the Buddha again after trying to kill the Buddha and all that. 5.9 Saddha Yamana Sutta. Thus have I heard. At one time the Lord was journeying among the people of Kosala together with a large Sangha of monks. On that occasion a number of youths passed by in a mocking manner not far from the Lord. That means they probably passed some nasty remarks about the Buddha and the monks. The Lord saw those youths passing by in a mocking manner. Then on realizing its significance, the Lord uttered on that occasion this inspired utterance: "The Dalits who appear as wise men recite with speech alone as their range. As much as they wish, they stretch their mouths. What leads them on, they do not know." 5.10 Chula Pantaka Sutta. Thus have I heard. At one time the Lord was staying near Savatthi in the Jeta wood at Anathapindika's monastery. On that occasion the Venerable Chula Pantaka was sitting cross-legged not far from the Lord, holding his body erect, having set up mindfulness before him. The Lord saw the Venerable Chula Pantaka sitting cross-legged not far away, holding his body erect, having set up mindfulness before him. Then on realizing its significance, the Lord uttered on that occasion this inspired utterance: "With body steady and mind steady, whether standing, sitting or lying down, a monk making this mindfulness firm shall obtain successive distinctions. On obtaining distinctions in succession, he goes beyond sight of the king of death." That means he does not die anymore because he has no more self. Just the body dies. Now we come, is there anything to discuss? Otherwise I want to go into chapter 6.